YouTube? What's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another Washington Commanders video. And in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about the NFC playoff picture, looking where the Washington Commanders stand as we head into Week 11, and also talk about how they can climb back into this thing and actually possibly clinch a playoff berth. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure to go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to check out my morning show, Top of the Morning Show, that goes live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays during the morning time. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So, as we know, the Washington Commanders sit 5-5 on the season, and although we've had some heartbreaking losses this season, they still sit in pretty good shape to possibly clinch a playoff berth. As we know, along with the Washington Commanders being 5-5, the whole NFC East has been amazing. You got the Eagles at 8-1, you got the Giants at 7-2, and then you got the Cowboys sitting at 6-3. Now, you want to know the good thing about that situation right now is that you've already finished the season series with the Eagles, and you split this past Monday with a huge win, ending their winning streak and snapping it and forcing them to go to 8-1. You still got the Cowboys one more time. In fact, that is the last game of the season, and the time is to be determined, because that could possibly be for seeding if everything plays out. And then you still have the New York Giants two more times. So again, everything we want is still in front of us, and along with them, you'll see why I said that. So let's waste no more time, because we're going to talk a little bit more about that division a little bit later in the video. But let's not waste any more time, and let's present to you the NFL, more specifically the NFC side of the playoff picture. So here you go right here. You got the NFC playoff picture here on your screen. And give me a second here. Let's go ahead and actually give it to you full screen there. There you go. All right, so now you got the playoff picture put up to you on both sides. I mean, we could go over the AFC side of things, but it really doesn't matter, because that's not the side we focus on. But as you see on the AFC side of things, you have the Chiefs at the 1 seed, 7-2, Dolphins 7-3. At the 2 seed, the Titans at the 3 seed was 6-3, and they got a big matchup with the Packers tonight. And we'll be obviously rooting for the Titans, because we want to put the Packers out. Although I do think the Packers are going to find a way to win this game tonight, I'm still going to root against the Titans, and so should you. Then you got the Ravens at 6-3. Then you got the Jets at 6-3 also, and then the Bills at 6-3. And then the Patriots at 5-4. So as it sits right now, the whole AFC East is in the playoffs. You got the Dolphins at 2 seed. You got the Jets at the 5 seed. You got the Bills at the 6 seed, and the Patriots at the 7 seed. So everybody in the AFC East is in the playoffs right now, and that could similar be to the NFC East, because we could possibly have everybody in the playoffs. So switching gears, we're not going to go over on the bubble for the AFC side of things again. That's not what we're here for. We'll do that for the NFC side of things, because that's what we're here for, and you'll see why. When you look over at the NFC side of things, you have the Eagles at number 1, and right now they had a tiebreaker over the Minnesota Vikings, because they obviously won their head-to-head matchup this past year earlier in the season. That's the Vikings' only loss. So they have the 1 seed right now, and they have a matchup versus the 4-5-1 Colts, which can really be tough for them, because what we did to them was what the Texans really tried to do, but they didn't finish, which was they found a weakness on their team, and that was the running defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. That is very poor. You know what I'm saying? So with having a Jonathan Taylor back more likely than not, they can run the ball on the Eagles, and that could probably find them success. Now, the Eagles did go out and get a run stuffer in Linval Joseph. I don't know what kind of shape Linval Joseph is in. And he is much older now, but he is a run stuffer. He is a big body. So maybe with Jordan Davis being on IR, that can help out the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's hope not. And the Colts actually go ahead and still won. I believe it's in Indianapolis. I could be wrong, though. But yeah, you got the Eagles at 8-1, still number 1 seed. That's why I was like, Eagles fans, man, I don't understand why you're so mad. I get that we're division rivals and you don't want to lose to division rivals, but the way you were acting, man, you were acting as if you just lost the Super Bowl, as if you just got put out the playoffs, man. You're still the number one seed, okay? It's just one loss, and it really didn't affect you that much, okay? So you're more likely than not probably still going to remain in the one seed unless the Giants could overlap you or the Cowboys. So I mean, right now the Eagles still sitting pretty solid, but I wouldn't. The way they acting, it was crazy. But we're past that now. Number two seed, you got the Vikings. 8-1 and lead the NFC North, and they're a team that's on the Eagles' heels. But again, what's separating those two is their matchup from earlier in the season, where the Eagles actually won. The Vikings sitting at 8-1, they could very well be the number one seed by the end of the night, or end of the early of the night rather. With the By Sunday, I should say, because they have the Cowboys there. That's going to be a tough game. Cowboys coming off of a loss versus the Packers. I could very well see the Cowboys losing this game too. I could also see them winning this game. But the Vikings, 8-1, and they have a chance to go 9-1 and take over that first place if they win and the Eagles lose. So moving over. Which I hope don't happen, because I want to see the Vikings again if we do somehow get the 7th seed. But third seed, you got the Seahawks. They are on a bye week this week. They're 6-4, still first in the NFC West. Now with the Seahawks it's a funny story, because they've been having a magical season all year long, but that could definitely come to an end. I believe this week, or they could at least be tied with the San Francisco 49ers if the 49ers actually win, or they're going to have actually a game over them, because the 49ers are sitting at 5-5. So they're still sitting a little bit comfortable. The Cardinals is pretty much not in it no more. Well, they're in it technically, but no one really sees them, possibly making any late season run. The Rams just lost Cooper Kupp. Don't know the status on Matthew Stafford. So I don't see the Rams really being in it either. So it's really just the Seahawks and 49ers. And if I had to put my money on someone to win a division, I probably would go with the 49ers. The Seahawks may still get a wild card, but I don't know. I just feel like at some point, I still feel like the Seahawks, glory and magical season with Geno Smith at the helm will run out at some point. So they're still sitting at the 3 seed, and they're probably going to have, they're still going to be in the 3 seed after this week, because they still have the one game gap with the San Francisco 49ers, but they're on a bye week. And then you got the 4 seed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's sitting at 5-5 in the NFC South. And they're on a bye week also. So they feel like the Bucs are going to heat up at the right time. Brady always heats up around this time. And it could be a perfect time, because they can finally separate themselves from everyone else in the NFC South division. Because that division has been really poor this year, but they could finally separate themselves from that division with a win coming off of the bye week. And that's really how it is now. Like, as long as the Bucs can take care of business in front of them, they don't have to worry about the Panthers. They don't have to worry about the Saints. They don't have to worry about the Falcons, because neither of those teams are good. But saying that, all those other teams still have a chance, including Panthers, still have a chance to win their division. So moving down to the 5th seed, you have the Giants sitting at 7-2. And they have a matchup with the Lions, and this is what I was talking about. With a Giants win and a Philadelphia Eagles loss, they could be tied for number 2, or for number 1 rather, in the NFC. Sorry about that. In the NFC, and still have 2 games, 2 matchups later in the season. So that could be huge for the Giants. They could definitely be tied with them after the end of the Sunday. And then they could still have, again, 2 matchups with them later in the season. So this is a big week for the Giants. Hopefully the Lions can come out there and pull one off again and beat the Giants and end their streak, or not their streak, but their hot season for a moment, and make them 7-3. But yeah, that could be huge for the Giants, because by the end of the Sunday, they could be tied for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And who would have thought that? You know what I'm saying? Even with how easy their schedule is, I wouldn't have thought them to be 7-2 right now, with the chance to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, with the Eagles loss and the Giants win. That's crazy, man. But then you got the number 6 seed, Dallas Cowboys, 6-3 right now, third in the NFC East. And you got the matchup with the Minnesota Vikings, as I spoke with earlier. This is going to be a huge game, for a simple fact that if the Cowboys win, they'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? They'll remain in the 3rd seed, okay, obviously, or the 6th seed rather, but third in the NFC East. But if they lose, and the team that I'm about to talk about next, after we talk about the 49ers, which is the Washington Commanders, if they go 6-4 and the Washington Commanders go 6-5, they're right on the Cowboys' heel with possibly sneaking up to get that 60. So you know how we were just talking about getting the 7th seed. This is what I'm talking about here. We could possibly just go as high as the 6th seed. I mean, shoot, if we win 6-5, you know what I'm saying? And then the Giants lose. They're 7-3. And then we win next week versus the Falcons, and we're now 7-5. And then the Giants 7-4. If they lose next week too, we could be right there. But I'm getting too excited and too ahead of myself. One game at a time is the approach right now. Can't overlook anybody, especially this week's opponent versus the Texans. But I'm just telling you more of the story that we're still in this. Everything that we want is still in front of us, but we just have to win. And I was just looking at the 7th seed, but again, every wild card spot is still open up to us. But again, the Cowboys got a game versus the Vikings. That's going to be a tough one. I could very well see them losing this game, but I could also see them winning this game. If they stick to the running game again, like with Tony Pollard and whatnot, and Dak has a better game, I can see them winning this game. But let's hope not. Let's hope Minnesota actually wins that game. And then the 7th seed. Okay, this is the position that I was looking at the most. You got the 5-4 San Francisco 49ers, okay? And with the win, actually, so looking back at it now, let me go back up. I thought they were 5-5 for some reason. So actually, I was right earlier. With a win by the 49ers this Sunday versus the Cardinals, they can be 6-4, and they can be tied with the Seahawks to get the 3rd seed in the NFC playoff picture. So they can actually climb back into the division race with the win over the Cardinals. But if they lose and they go to 5-5 and the Washington Commanders win, they can climb back up into that 7th seed, and the 49ers will drop back down. You know what I'm saying? So let's look now with who's on the bubble. We're going to look at the first 3 teams, and look at that. You see number 8 seed, Washington Commanders, rising up 1 spot. Got a huge game. I've been saying 1-6-1 Texans, but they're 1-7-1 actually. 1-7-1 Texans. And Washington Commanders sitting 5-5. And if they can find a way to beat the Texans, they go to 6-5. And then I'm pretty sure this game right here between the 49ers and Cardinals will be at 425. So we can sit down there and watch that game too. And if the Cardinals find a way to win and we win, we go up here to the 7th seed. The 49ers drop down. And if we're the 7th seed, okay, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. If we're the 7th seed, we're 6-5, and the Cowboys lose, they 6-4. So then the following week versus the Falcons, if we find a way to win and the Cowboys lose again, then we could go up to the 6th seed. So every division, every wild card spot is still open up to us. Even this 7-2 spot where the Giants are, that's still open up to us. So again, it's one game at a time. I understand that, but you can't help but to look a little bit ahead. But again, we got to have narrow vision because we cannot allow any game to slip past us, especially this game this week versus the Texans. Everyone wants to just look at the record. That's not just look at the record. Okay, they're 1-7-1, but they can definitely beat us. So we cannot overlook this team, and I feel like Taylor Heinicke and Ron Rivera has been doing a good enough job trying to keep that the goal. We can't overlook this team no matter the record. And then on the bubble, you got the Packers and the Falcons. You don't got to worry about the Packers. It would be great if they lose tonight, but you don't have to worry about them. Why? Because you beat them already. Long as you got to do is win your games to stay ahead of them. And then you got to match up with the Falcons coming up here the week after the Texans game. So everything is still in front of you, okay? All you got to do is worry about winning. So with that being said, let me go ahead and stop the share and get my face back up here. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, everything we want is still in front of us. All we have to do as Washington Commanders fans is win our games, and everything else will take care of itself. So yeah, man, there you have it. As always, man, one Gotti, like, comment, subscribe, helps to Washington Commanders. That's a full breakdown of not just the NFC playoff picture, but the whole playoff picture as a whole. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. As always, it's me, one Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, helps to Washington Commanders. I'm out. Peace. Cross me one time, that's gonna get you pop, get you poppin', get you droppin'. Slide on the one where they get you boxed on. I ain't stopping till I get me all the money.